This is my first Instagram live.
Oh, shit.
I've never done this before. But
All right, folks, we're live here with Chelsea Dillon of Project Lift. And I'm recording from the Strong Coach bunker in Southern Utah. I thought I'd never be saying those words, but here we are. I don't even know what day we're in. We're over a month into this situation. I'm now shopping for houses in Utah. I thought I'd never leave the beach, but here I am. And man, we've put a lot of attention in the Strong Coach recently. When everyone started quarantine, we've always been helping coaches build 6 and 7 figure coaching businesses and sustainable businesses, not the ones where you have to hustle and grind till you're dead. And so when this all came about, we were helping coaches that were running gyms. We were helping coaches that were online. Most of the coaches that we were working with in the gym space were looking to go online in the very least. So when this happened, we go, oh, okay, let's change everything we have. We have a lot of experience going online. I was a gym owner once, went online, and we shifted everything that we're doing to do online coaching only. So in the last month, we did that. So what we did is we created a free ebook you can download at The Strong Coach on how to take your coaching business online. So if you're concerned about the software you need, technical details, how to market yourself, how to create new offers, things that are compelling. Because the truth is if you try to offer exactly what you were doing in the gym online only, you may run into some pitfalls. I'm going to talk to Chelsea about that today because they were doing a lot of things really well before we all went into quarantine. So she had positioned herself ahead of time. So it was a nice, smooth transition. We'll talk about that. And so Chelsea, you're in Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
Columbus, Ohio.
Right here. I'm a little bit more on the west side, but yeah, Columbus is my home base.
Yeah. And how long have you been weightlifting?
It'll be 19 years this fall. 19 years. More than like an adult, right?
Yeah. So I want to talk about two things. Two main things I want to talk about today is one, as a coach, you have created a program and things for your athletes to do at home that is going to allow them to come back even stronger weightlifters than when they left. Most people are concerned about, oh, I want to keep my gains. Oh, I'm losing my gains. And with your athletes, they are going beyond just maintain their gains. They're actually going to come out better athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, really exciting. And then on the other side is I want to talk about how you're making your business stronger. So how are we keeping the weightlifters stronger throughout this process? And then how's this allowing you to build a new foundation? By the way, I mean, we haven't seen each other. It's been about a month, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do I look stronger? I've been working out.
Nice. I see that. Yeah. You've been doing great, man. I think this is the most I've seen you work out in like the time I've actually known you.
This is the most I've seen me work out in years. So I'm just sitting out here like, I guess I'll work out now.
Right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah,
right,
great job. You're killing it.
Thank you. All right, so you've been lifting for 19 years. You've been coaching for how long?
Probably like 7 or 8 now.
And you and your partner at Project Lift, you've trained Olympians.
Yeah, more my husband, business and life partner. Yeah, he has. I've trained personally like national competitors. We've had quite a few, place in the top 5 or top 10 in, various national divisions from youth to senior, including myself as well in that mix.
Yeah. One of the things that's most impressive about what y'all have done as coaches is that you've developed the athletes to national level. So can you turn your phone all the way down?
I did, and it won't
Oh,
go.
yeah,
It won't go to mute.
yeah, mine's doing the same thing. It's okay though.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll survive.
Yeah, we will.
Um, hopefully that's okay on the audio. Y'all, like a lot of coaches, they are popular and they attract athletes in that are already really high level. One of the things that's really impressive about what y'all are doing is you've developed people from, I just want to work out to be in shape to, oh my gosh, like I actually want to compete at a national level. So truly developing athletes from the ground up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely honestly, it's a pride for sure. But yeah, developing that from the ground up is huge. That's not an easy thing to do, especially looking at that we've only been open for 5 years. It's a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah. What happened? All right. So everyone had to quarantine. I was there in Columbus, Ohio. We were all hanging out, and the Arnold Sports Festival was supposed to be happening. It happened on one level, but not really the way we wanted it to. And so I remember leaving and everything starting to shut down in Columbus. So, people were starting to, and I was like, this isn't going to be a big deal. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then by the next week I was going, oh shit, we're all going in lockdown.
Yeah.
So what did you guys do when lockdown happened and they say, hey, you can't operate your gym anymore? What did you and Drew do to move your athletes online?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I imagine that a lot of people panicked when they got that order. It was March 17th or 16th, whatever that Monday was. Basically, we got that order to like all gyms are going to close by the end of the day, that day, because we weren't deemed essential. And for us, it was just kind of like, okay, like the probably 7 to 10 days before, I had made more formal notices to our community. Like I had been having like all these conversations, like if, when, whatever. But then it was more like mass messages out to everybody, like, if and when this happens, we have a plan. Everything right now is still operating as normal. Then we started to put in more strict like cleaning regimens and stuff like that as we're going along. And then it was like, I don't know, maybe the Friday before, again, that conversation was like, if and when we close, we're going to loan equipment out to everybody. We'll pivot everybody online, and we'll go through a cycle like we did last fall to build strength and stability with less equipment, and just keeping conversations going. So when we actually got that order then on that Monday, it was like kind of no big deal. It was like, okay, guys, time to execute this plan. We'll be doing all the classes online, which was new for us. We actually don't usually have classes. It's more like group training times. So it's like, we'll start classes online tomorrow with links to send everybody. It's going to be through Zoom. For those who have equipment or need to pick it up, you got to pick it up by the end of the day today. I had a big spreadsheet, of course, with like everyone's names. And like, I was just reaching out to everybody, like individually too. Do you have what you need? What else do you need? How else can I support you? And just making sure that they understood that like we're here to support them more than just the health and the strength side of it too, right? It's just, especially those individuals who live by themselves or who already struggle with anxiety. It's how else can we support you? What's going to make you feel more comfortable through this transition? What can we do? And keeping those conversations going even before we got that order was huge. So then when it happened, it was just, okay, they warned us about that. It wasn't one more thing that somebody had to figure out or worry about. We took care of that. Like the worry was never there for our athletes.
Cool. Yeah. What's changed in the last month? So it's been a month now.
This is the fifth week.
I imagine that the way you're doing things in week 5 is different than week 1. What's changed?
I'm giving myself a lot more grace. Giving myself a lot more recovery time, because we came out just like swinging, I guess you can say, and it was just constant. and I let my own refilling of my cup go to the side for the first few weeks. And then it kind of like, it literally last week, it like hit and I'm like, whoa. But other than that, it's, I'm still constantly communicating with my athletes, checking them as they're coming in through classes. If I haven't seen them through, in a couple of days, I send them a message. It's just constant communication that's still going. Because everybody, again, is handling things different, and just making sure that they feel supported. But the only thing that I would say that has changed is, for me, is I've given myself more grace to refill my cup so I can continue to take care of everybody else.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of people were almost afraid to communicate with their clients. I was hanging out in different Facebook groups and forums where there was gym owners, and a lot of people were like, I don't know what to say to my clients, like, and it was obvious to me that this wasn't, it's situations like this that highlight the larger issue, which is they weren't communicating well previously. If communication was a regular part of how they're running their business, it would have just been like it was for you. Yeah. But what ended up happening is their communication wasn't something they had focused on previously. So now when there's this disaster, then they're like, they're not practiced in communication. And then like, oh, so for you, it's natural.
Yeah. Like I keep on, I keep pretty close relations with all of my athletes. And so it wasn't weird or figure that out. Like, oh, I don't know, what their situation is. How do I approach this? It was, hey, like, I know you're by yourself. Like, this is that. Like, I know your job is this. How is that standing? Like, yeah.
Well, this is one of the things that we've been talking about at the Strong Coach for a while is, well, one of the things we talk about is being a trainer versus a coach, which is, the trainer is counting reps, might be writing a program, but the coach is there to, what do you need to reach your goal? The coach has a deeper tool set. They're communicating, they're building a relationship. But one of the things that I got present to throughout this process is that gym owners, I never even thought about it, but gym owners don't see themselves as coaches a lot of times. It's like, oh, I own the gym and I'm selling memberships and things like that, but I'm not actually selling coaching. And that's been, in my opinion, the biggest pivot for gym owners in this process, is letting them know is like, hey, you're not going to keep your gym members as clients, but you can keep your as a coach, you could keep them as clients, right? And so that's what you and Drew did really well, was you had positioned yourself from the very beginning as their coach, and not in that you were just calling yourself the coach. Y'all were actually in their lives. So when this went down, the value that they were placing on what it is they send you money for every month was actually on the coaching, not on the fact that you have platforms and barbells and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the physical space at all, right? They stayed on because, the relationships that we had built with them, and that they know that where we're going to lead them is going to continue to continue that path and that journey towards their ultimate goals, because at some point we'll come out to the other side of this, right, where we do get to actually go to a competition again, and that's still there, right? That want is still there. So how do we continue to build and work towards that, even though I don't know when that next competition is going to be, right? We don't know at all. It could be 2 months, 6 months, a year from now. But they had that trust in us that we can keep them in that right spot and keep them on task.
Yeah. For your business, what are the gifts? What are the good things that have happened because of this?
That's a great question. From what I see, the good things that have happened is really highlighting how strong of a community we have, just how good our people are. Like watching the interactions between everybody on our community Slack channel, like they're creating conversations with each other to stay connected without me having to prompt things, right? They're, reaching out to other people or reaching out to me, and just seeing that. I have had more participation in our classes now than I did before. And I'm like, where were you guys at?
Yeah.
Why weren't we always showing up like this? That has just been, awesome. And just that I do feel more connected with our people now than ever before, which is crazy because we were pretty connected to begin with. That's been just absolutely beautiful, watching that evolve through this process.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears.
Okay.
How is the how are you keeping the athletes strong? What's
Magic.
Yeah, tell us about the magic. Tell us about the magic, because from what I'm understanding, because I've yet to attend one of the classes I'm going to, is you do have techniques, and you have ways of getting people stronger, even if they don't have access to a barbell or dumbbells or whatever it is. What are you doing?
So I call it functional stability. And it's basically incorporating a lot of unilateral work, a lot of core stability, and just very, very specific parameters, right? Like we are talking like deep foot pressure on every single position that we're doing, 360 degrees of activation in that core. How does my shoulder move, just like anatomically too, right? And then how do I build stability within that, and working within your current threshold too. I'm not trying to, like, if I can't put my arm over my head without arching my back, I'm not working in this range of motion. Then I'm going to work in this and keep that core engaged while I also do mobility and other things to open that up. And we're working within individuals' thresholds, with all this unilateral work. And then we're throwing in, there's crafted in there little things to get your heart rate up just a little bit, but everything comes back to our foundational movements or our foundational stability. And, if you can't stand on one leg, you're not going to do a single leg RDL with your leg actually coming up. We're going to do it with a kickstand, and then let me adjust that hip position. And even though we're remote, I'm still making these adjustments individually through the class, right? I have everyone test everything as we go, and then I'm adjusting that position for them virtually, just like I would in person. And in some ways it's easier to do because I can keep my eyes on this one movement versus watching someone do a snatch and then a squat and, whatever else at the same time. It's a nice hodgepodge of all that.
So we're going in the 5th week of this. What are your clients saying about it? What kind of results are they getting? I mean, it's hard to measure because it's not like you're going to go, like, you haven't snatched or squatted to see if they improved on those lifts. But, what I heard was this was a crazy, popular class. It's full all the time. So what kind of results are people getting? What are they experiencing that makes it full?
One, the community, right? So it's a connection. It's something they get to look forward to every day. That is something that I have had from almost everybody. It is a bright spot in their day. They get to see familiar people, even though virtually, right? And they get to connect. I have a good amount of people who show up early just so we can kind of talk before the class begins. But then the result, like the physical results as well, we're seeing, like, from what I'm watching my clients go through, obviously I knew where they were before too. I see them just becoming more stable. There's less hip shifting as they're going through a bear position. They have more range of motion and stability when they're doing a tempo pullover. You see them, they used to be very tight and tense up through here, and you can see that drop and engage now into the serratus. I have all of them complaining about their medial glute being sore, that they've and activated, as I like to use, instead of sore. And that's something that is new for them. Or, oh, I didn't even realize that I wasn't doing this movement right before. Now I know how it's supposed to feel like. That has been a recurring theme as well. Because what I noticed with that is, before, when they were trying to hide themselves in a corner or something like that, or, sneak a movement in, or, just not have the coach actually watch them on that. Now they can't shy away from it, right? And we've done cycles like this before with a handful of athletes. So that trust is there on going back to the barbell, their strength and speed and stability will all be there.
Right. Are you taking any new clients? Can I?
Come on in, man.
Yeah. Okay. Where do people do that? Because I want to do any of your classes. I'm going to do it. You're in the mastermind. So you're going to do one for the mastermind group.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Has that happened? Did that happen
No,
without me?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. We would never do it without you, Mike. Never.
I've had all sorts of strong coach things happen without me. Like, oh, we got together, we did this. I'm like, where the fuck was my invite? Come on, people.
No, we haven't scheduled the mastermind one yet, but we need to do that. Are you gonna be my accountability buddy for that?
I'm not that good at accountability.
I'll put that. I'll bring that up. I'll bring that up to our mastermind tonight.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, if anybody,
I'll keep you accountable. We'll get it on the schedule tonight.
Okay, cool, perfect. But yeah, if anybody is interested in the functional stability, shoot us an email, info@project-lift.org, and we'll get you set up with all that information. Somebody has questions too, and like, hey, I have a back problem or a knee problem. Is this right for me? It is absolutely right for you. Pretty much no matter what, if you any type of injury or nursing, this is going to be perfect for you to rehab that, to build strength in ways that you haven't had before. And if you are injury free, then you only get to continue to increase your strength and stability even more so.
Yeah. How's the quarantine been for you personally? You're an introvert, so everyone knows she's a massive introvert. So she really values her alone time.
I do, but I don't really feel alone. Drew's home all the time. My cats are running around all the place, and I do get to see everybody. And because I really am a huge introvert, but what I have noticed, especially just as time have gone on, how much I really did crave and enjoy that in-person connection, like just still being able to see somebody. And it's like, I dropped some plants off at a friend's house, and it's like I literally just had to drop it off. Like typically I would have gone in and said hi, gave them a hug, but I couldn't do that. And that was just weird, right? It's just this weird pivot. But the quarantine's been okay. It's just I'd say the first few weeks I was just so like blinders on and just full steam ahead. And last week it really kind of hit me more. There's a lot more emotion that came up and kind of that grief process, and that was a rough one. So that's where like that grace I was kind of saying that I needed to give myself came into play. And I've been letting myself play a little bit more too over this last week, which has been great.
What's play look like? Because I know like a lot of coaches, I know for me, the first 2-3 weeks of this, there's a lot of work, basically shifting everything changed. It's like, okay, we got to reconfigure the whole business, which is actually a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because it was good exercise and applying all the things we know that work and to apply it to a new scenario.
Well, like what's funny too, Mike, is that I sat at my kitchen table, my parents' kitchen table at Christmas time with my entire family. And I was telling them about this functional stability stuff I've been doing with myself and a handful of other clients. We sat there at Christmas and was like, oh, one day I want to take this online. It'd be really easy to be able to do from the living room and have a class like through Zoom or something like that. And my parents are like, oh, let me know when you do that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a while. Well, 3 months later, here we are, and I am doing exactly that. So it's like I already had that little nugget in there, right? And just I spoke it into the universe, and now here I get to do that. So when that opportunity came up to do it, it was so much fun. Like that adrenaline was pretty high from that excitement, but then it was like I kept it up here for too long, and then it was like last week, and like okay, we're finding balance.
What have you learned about business in the last month? I've learned some things about business in the last month. I know you have.
A lot of what we worry about doesn't matter. It it doesn't really matter what the facility looks like. It doesn't, it comes down to the relationships that you cultivate or have cultivated, and the people, right? And have you been able to follow through on what you're offering them? That's what holds true. um and that's where we've seen with everyone still being with us 5 weeks later, but
What?
everything else kind of doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah. There's it's an easy quote to say, but business all comes down to relationships, always. And that's the key point. And as we start doing business, it's easy to forget that a lot of times, because there's a lot of things that have to get done that
Mm.
are not necessarily relationships. Or at least, like you said, we think they have to get done.
Yeah.
How do you see this impact? Let's fast forward. Imagine we go into a world where you get to go back into the gym. How has well, let's do like what? How do you go back into the gym after doing it like this? What's different? What's different about how you're coaching? What's different about what you offer? What's different because of this situation and then going back in the gym?
That's a great question. I definitely imagine that online coaching like we're doing now will continue to be a part of our offering. The live classes, either for both functional stability and for live lifting, those are going to be part of our offer going forward, even when we get to go back into the gym. And it's looking beyond that too. It's do you still have to have the same hours that you've always had? Do you have to have as many coaches as you've always had? Those are all questions that I don't have answers for yet, but they're on my list of just what do we get to, how do we really get to hone into what's necessary? I think that's what we're being taught right now, is what is truly necessary and what's just for show.
Yeah. So so would you say this has created a much stronger foundation for you?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
It's really pushing us into what we want to create versus what we feel like we should, or what other people kind of want. This is what we want to create.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's what you perceive other people want you to create.
Yes. That's a more accurate way to put it. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I know for
perception.
Me, the people who love me the most are the ones that want me to do what makes me happy. But then, it's so common to think, oh, they want me to do this and this and this. And then you talk to them. If you really get down to brass tacks with those people that go, oh, I just want you to be happy. You go, oh, well, I'm the only one that's been causing this problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we totally make up those problems ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that perception is pretty crazy, but how we tend to really get paralyzed by it, right? And it just is like, oh, like I have to do this or I have to do that. No, you don't really, right? Now we really get to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
We get to do what we want to do.
Yeah. I have no idea how she's going to answer this question, folks. I didn't prep. No.
Oh,
yeah, I'm curious. Both you and Drew have been rock stars since you've been the strong coach. I've really enjoyed coaching y'all, and I'm curious what's been your experience of the Mastermind in the last month since all this went down. What's and this is going to satisfy my own curiosity. I don't know if this is gonna. She might just be like, it's been okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, is this a loaded question for you or for me? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
So how has the Mastermind been for me over this last month?
Yeah.
What I find is super interesting about the Mastermind and what really I look forward to is not really in this moment getting support for myself, because before that's really what it was. It was like, okay, I have this and I feel stuck here and I need support with this. I feel like I'm learning a lot more from everybody else right now, like hearing, because it's pulling me outside my bubble, right? So I'm
Mm.
hearing from other gym owners or coaches, or those not even in the fitness, if they're in nutrition or whatever, hearing the other sides, right? An owner who isn't able to connect with their members, what do they do? Somebody who's in another country that has completely different um, government support, right? What are they struggling with? Other coaches who have been able to pivot online really well. I feel like I have learned so much more from listening to everybody else in these last 4 weeks, and that's been really, really powerful. Because I'm hearing that, it's like, oh, okay, like I didn't even think about that at all before. And now it's like, okay, does that need to be a part of what I'm doing? Or, oh man, like imagine if I didn't, the government wasn't supporting it, doing any type of support, or what if they were doing so much more, like you have both sides of all of that. And again, it does feel like too a sense of normalcy, right? Throughout all of this, it's like this nice kind of like check-in. It really makes me sit and kind of take stock of what has happened over this last week. Where am I? What is going on in myself? And I need that a lot, because I tend to just keep going and going and going and just until I blow into a wall. So it's like a breath of fresh air, and makes me really kind of slow down. Wednesdays when we have our call is really that day where it's like, okay, where am I?
Where am I?
Where am I? What day is it? Right? It helps me remember what day it is. That's always great.
Yeah. I've actually before all this, you probably noticed there's been one or two calls where like I'm getting text messages from Valerie 15 minutes after the call has started going, "Where are you?" And I go, "Oh shit, it's Wednesday."
That was like 2 weeks ago that happened. You're like, I totally thought it was Tuesday.
I'm learning. It is that I was FaceTiming with my friend Jesse Elder yesterday, and do you know who that is? Yeah, you'll know soon. You have to look
Okay.
up. He's been on the Bledsoe show, and he's about to be back on in a week or two. And we were hanging out on FaceTime, and we were laughing about how our lives we did the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Like our lives we're traveling the world, and everything's just super flow and chaotic, and we were cool with it. And then this happened, and then super structure came in. I was like, now I work Monday through Friday, and then weekends off. He goes, yeah, I did the same thing. I started getting all the structure. He goes, I was thinking about wearing a suit, just put it on in my apartment, go to work, that kind of thing. So,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's true though. I'm
Do you
not,
even own a suit?
No, I don't own a suit.
Okay.
You know what though? What I do is about once every 2 years, I have to buy a suit for an event. And then I go, I'm going to hang on to this puppy. And then I have no idea where they go. I don't know where the suits go. I'd say the last 3 suits I bought, I have no idea where they are now. So I think it's because I didn't spend enough money on them. So the next suit I buy, I was supposed to be in Italy in June.
Yeah.
For a wedding, and I was gonna invest in a really nice suit, and then I was gonna hang on to it, and then that didn't happen. Well, I mean, maybe it could happen. I don't think we're going to Italy in June. So you did the Strong Coach, joined the 90-day program, and then you did the summit. You did that all at once.
I did like all of it at once. Like Mastermind thrown in there too. Yeah, my time frame was I signed up for the Mastermind like 3 weeks before the summit, and then Danny invited me to the summit, and I went, and we postponed. We were supposed to start my class that week of the summit, so we postponed that 2 weeks because of the summit. So I went there. At that time, I also signed up for the Mastermind. and then started the 90-day program, and then started the Mastermind together.
What's been the experience? So that's been since August. You got involved in August. It's been, what month are we in now? It's been about 8 months.
April. Yeah.
It's been about April, I think. It's been, we'll call it 8 months. So we've been working together for 8 months. What's been your experience?
Magical is the first word that came to mind. Like,
yes.
the just the doors, not even doors, like the layers that the Strong Coach has opened up for me and has peeled back for me, or showed me how to peel it back myself, I really should say, has just been unbelievable. Like, I definitely feel like a completely different person in a great way from 8 months ago. And that it, like, the tools that you learn, and just kind of that personal development mixed with the business has been just crazy. I create more time for myself now. Some weeks can be better than others, obviously.
Hey, I still do it. I still do it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a process, right? It is a process. There is definitely still a lot of unlearning to do, but it has taught me that, like, it is possible to unlearn and to relearn. It opens you to a whole network of just freaking awesome people that are like-minded, that just want to help you and help grow the world and create just this goodness through everything that we do. I don't even want to say just fitness. It's all sorts of things that all of us coaches do. It's created accountability. That was a huge one. It was pretty easy to hide from the accountability with, like, my partner or myself. Now, having, like, a coach myself, right, it is, that accountability is huge. It's like, if I tell you, Mike, hey, I'm going to do a functional stability class for the Mastermind, like, it's going to happen. It's not going to just kind of falter to the side, or, hey, I'm going to create this new product. This is where I need support. I'm not really sure how to market this. Like, that is just ridiculous. That is unreal, that level of support that we get through the Strong Coach. I don't have to just, like, Google things on, how do I do this? Is that right? I don't know. Or my default was always like, Drew, what do I do? And he's like, oh, like, like, if he didn't know the answer, it would, we just guess or figure it out, right? And again, that network and the amount of tools and resources that we have is just unreal. It's looking at, it's like how I try to support my athletes, and how building that relationship with them and being their resource. That is what Strong Coach is to me.
Cool. What was it like? What was it like running your coaching business before and now? Like, what's the difference?
There's less tears.
All right, less crying, less tears. Okay.
I'm in it. My body is physically healthier. I think in the first year or two we opened the business, I put myself in adrenal fatigue twice, which is not a good thing to do. And I was sick probably every 4 to 6 weeks, like on the dot, like all the time. I haven't been sick, knock on wood, in like a year and a half, which is literally, like, unprecedented for me. But even looking at right before I started everything with the Strong Coach, in July, I think I had, like, some kind of breakdown. I was just so burnt out. Like, just, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to, like, even going into the building. It was just like, ugh, like, there's just this tightness, right? It was just this, like, because I just was burnt out, right? And that's happened multiple times. It was like every 6 months, I just got this, like, massive, just, if I can just get to this break, if I can just get to this break.
Yeah.
And I don't operate that way anymore.
How would you call it you operate now?
From like a place of excitement. Like, I get to do this. I get to work with, so and so. I get to teach this class versus I have to. And that was really, really shifting for me.
Yeah. What are you excited about next?
What am I excited about next? So many things. Warmer weather,
Yeah.
which is not this week in Ohio. So maybe next week. Warmer weather. I am excited to grow this functional stability class. That is like so exciting to me. And it has been so, so influential in my own training, just life training and also barbell training. And that I'm so excited I get to grow this and bring this to more people. I'm excited for the day when I do get to see all my people in person again. That's going to be a beautiful day. I'm excited for my plants to grow. I planted some more plants last week, and yeah, I'm excited to watch them grow. I had to slip that in somewhere. I mean, come on.
Yeah. She loves plants. She loves plants. What was
Yeah, there's 3.
I almost forgot, but I did you see the video from the Mastermind yet? The retreat we did?
Yes,
What'd you think?
I did. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It got
Yeah.
me like really, really jacked. I'm like, oh, let's go back.
Yeah. We're really lucky because we went and did Costa Rica right before all this. And
3 weeks before.
yeah, I've told some people, I was like, I'm so lucky because I basically rolled into this thing fresh. Now, a lot of
Yeah.
other people in the industry were already tired. They'd been working a lot. And then this coronavirus thing hits and they're like, oh, they're bringing an empty tank to the situation. We came rolling in like, like a full,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can work 12-hour days, 12, 14, 16-hour days for the next few weeks. I've got a full tank of gas. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. We were definitely in a great mindset to be able to pivot like that, right?
Yeah.
It was, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. How was the retreat for you? Besides magic.
I'll come up with another word. It was awesome. Like it's what I really liked about it was our mastermind group, right? So we have been working together for 7 months at that point. We all knew each other pretty well. So there wasn't this like meet and greet kind of thing you had to get through. It was just we hit and like we all synced up and kind of got to work together, right? Like almost like immediately, I feel like it just flowed, right? That whole 3-4 days just felt like it flowed. And the amount of work that we were able to get into to that just such a deeper level, right? It was just nice to be able to be in person and not be constrained to like an hour, right? We had literally all day to work through these things and to hone in a message or dive into different business scenarios or whatever it was. It was taking everything we've been doing but to that deeper and next level, and that was pretty powerful.
Right. What was your favorite
Plus
part?
the place we were in, petting the plants.
We stayed at like an eco village, permaculture farm, and the plants. I put the video on my Instagram TV if people want to see it. It was so good.
This was awesome.
So good. Kinkara, folks, if you want to go to Costa Rica and have an experience with nature, Kinkara, Kinkara. Yeah.
That's the place. Like that was the perfect, I definitely feel that was the perfect spot for just all the work for us to do. There weren't distractions or anything like that. But I do think that my favorite part, probably 2. One was when the hot seat day or love seat day. I thoroughly enjoyed that. For me, I enjoy that more in the sense like I couldn't hide behind Drew. I got to step into that myself, as myself. And the second part was those random questions that Ben came up with that we had to talk about for 2 minutes. That was awesome.
Oh, those were great. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. So tell everyone what we did, what we had to do. Because I did it too. We even had our camera guy do it. Yeah.
nobody was immune to this. So I think Ben came up with most of them, right?
Yeah, some of this,
Him balance.
like he has a performing arts background. He's an actor, so he had a lot of, I think some of these were exercises from acting classes, and then Danny's also done a lot of improv, so there's all these improv exercises. So I think that's what it was an improv. That we did several improv acting, as whether you knew it,
and those were great.
Yeah, but this one was you had to answer a question, or was it a question?
Yeah, so he wrote down like 60 some questions or whatever and cut them off in like little strips and put them in a basket, and each person had to pick 3 questions out of it and talk about each thing for 2 minutes. And so you grabbed whatever was, just grabbed a piece of paper out of there, and it could have said, it went from business to interpersonal stuff. Like it was all across the board. Like, what's something that you want to tell Mike? Or the best was when someone would get it for themselves, right?
That happened maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yes. And that was crazy, right? When that person got the question for themselves. But then you just talk for 2 minutes about like whatever
you have to present.
It is.
You're basically on stage and everyone's watching you. You have to keep talking for 2 minutes about the subject,
which was great. Like I found that awesome. I definitely am a champ about talking about pretty much any random thing. I can keep going.
Yeah, just keep going.
So that was awesome.
You got it. All right. Anything else you want to leave everyone with before we roll out?
Just stay, really in this moment, it's just stay positive, stay connected. We'll make it through this, and it'll be okay. It's going to be what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Enjoy my class, Functional Stability. Shoot me that email, guys.
Join the class, Functional Stability. I'm going to go do that class this next week. Where are they emailing you?
So they're going to email us at info at project-lift.org.
Cool.
We'll set you up.
Where do we find you on Instagram?
So Instagram, it's PROJCT, so project_lift. You can find me personally at One Strong Cookie on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh.
And then Facebook is Project Lift.
All right. Go give them a follow, send them a message. Does anyone get to try a class, or how does that work if they just want to try a class?
Yeah. Shoot us an email. That's the first place to start. No. Shoot me an email, man. DM on Instagram and we'll get you all set up.
Cool. Thanks, Chelsea.
Thanks, Mike, so much. Good to see you.